Hi, it's David here at Skinny Vegan Fitness with another video, and today I'm going to give you 5 things that you didn't know about vegans. Number 1, veganism is not a diet.
I'm so confused. These are confusing times.
Many people believe that it is a diet, and when you go and Google veganism, it will usually come up and it will define veganism as a diet that refrains from eating animal products. As with many words in the dictionary, the meaning doesn't just end there. Veganism actually is in itself a movement and a stance against all forms of animal exploitation. That does include eating a plant-based diet. The dictionary definition is not completely wrong, it just doesn't encompass the wider scale of what somebody is doing when they are being a vegan. It actually extends to, but isn't limited to, avoiding all animal products, including food like honey, dairy, meat, eggs and fish, and all the different ways that we exploit or kill or use animals for food. It's also avoiding clothing that comes from an animal base or is derived from animals. For example, that would be like wool and silk, leather, and other items that have involved an animal in their processing. It does involve other things that you may not have thought about, like entertainment. So for example, horse racing or dog racing or riding horses or purchasing pet animals. And I say that as pet animals because they're not pet animals, they're just animals. That's the category that people call them, you know, like dogs and cats and hamsters and gerbils and different parrots. Purchasing those animals is also considered not a vegan thing because it is exploiting animals for entertainment purposes. Now you can see it's actually far, far more than simply just the plant-based diet.
That's fucking interesting, man.
Number 2, they don't think they're better than you.
What do you think, you're better than me? By the way, a huge part of being an idiot is constantly accusing people of thinking they're better than you.
Many people have this impression that vegans are sitting on their moral high horse, but vegans don't believe in riding horses because that's also animal exploitation. So that point really doesn't make much sense. Vegans don't think they're better than you. Most people were not always vegan, so they understand what it has been like to be a non-vegan in a world that is promoting and accepting, completely socially acceptable to be non-vegan. It's kind of not as socially acceptable to be vegan. They understand that you still have the potential to change just like they did. It's not about who's better or who's worse, it's about how can they help you get to that point that they are now at, so that together you can all stop exploiting animals. The idea that vegans think that they're better than other people actually, I think, comes from a sense of guilt. When we see someone who's doing something good, like for example, a smoker quits smoking and tells their smoker friends that they've quit smoking, there is a sense of resentment there from the people who are still smoking, and there is a sense of, oh, that person thinks they're better than me because they can quit smoking. Another example would be somebody who volunteers for a charity or does a lot of charity work, and when they tell other people about that charity work and about the good work they're doing for others, other people do kind of feel that guilt, maybe get a little bit defensive because it highlights the fact that they are not doing any charity work if they're not doing it. These 2 examples can give you an idea about the kind of psychological process we go through when we meet somebody who is doing things that are noble, and it kind of puts us under pressure and makes us feel like, oh, they think they're better than me.
Don't start judging me.
If we think that way, if we do get defensive, that is just us projecting. It's really projecting what we feel onto them, and it's not actually the reality. It's always important to look in before you look outside, because it's probably just coming from you and it's probably something you're projecting onto them. Number 3, they're not all weak and malnourished. This is the craziest thing that still lingers today, that vegans are weak, they can't build muscle, or they're malnourished, or they're all really sick.
Are you serious?
Go to your nearest hospital and ask the doctor, what are most people in this hospital for? And I'm going to guarantee you that it's not anything to do with a plant-based diet or veganism. It's probably actually the opposite. It's probably due to the consumption of animal products and many diet-related illnesses that are the majority of the reason that people are in there. If you need more evidence than that, or if you can't go to a hospital or don't want to go to a hospital,
Fair enough.
look at some of the most amazing plant-based athletes that are around right now. We have people like Patrick Baboumian, who is a world record-holding strongman. Other bodybuilders like Nimai Delgado and Tori Washington, both of which have never eaten meat in their entire lives and are pro bodybuilders competing. Runners like Morgan Mitchell and Scott Jurek, who are competing at the highest levels, running ultra marathons and fell running. In the case of Morgan, she's running track and field and competing with some of the best in the world. So if they can do it and they're at the highest level of athleticism, competing at a world level, me and you can definitely do it when we are leading our day-to-day lives that don't even need half of their level of nutrition. It's completely possible to be healthy and strong and completely nourished with all the vitamins you need on a plant-based diet. Number 4. Those crazy vegans are not actually crazy. I'm talking about those crazy vegans that go into steak restaurants and McDonald's and KFC and Burger King and all these different places, and they get a megaphone out, and maybe they have laptops, or maybe they cover themselves in fake blood. You've all seen them, and we've all seen them, everyone sees them, and both vegans and non-vegans alike call them crazy.
You're crazy! Am I?
But here's the thing. They're not actually crazy. The reason they do this stems from other social rights movements that have been successful from using similar tactics. During the civil rights movement, one of the tactics they used was something called the sit-in. This is where members of the Black activist community went and sat in places where they were not allowed to sit by law because of segregation laws. That was their disruption. That was what they wanted to do. They wanted to disrupt the norm, disrupt the situation in those places that was oppressive. It got violent, there was a bad response, but what it did was it woke people up to the fact that segregation was actually immoral, and most people began to support the civil rights activists thanks to that action, amongst many other actions, but that action was a very big part of it. When vegans go into the KFCs, Burger Kings, and steakhouses and wherever, they're doing the exact same thing. They are disrupting and forcing those people in there to look at themselves, look at the choices that they have made, and look how they have affected others on our planet. Others meaning the animals that have died and suffered and died to be there on those plates. It is using that exact same tactic. So they're not crazy. Actually, it's a very smart and very effective way to bring animal rights and animal exploitation onto the table. Number 5. They don't care if you are vegan or not. This seems a bit crazy, right? Because you've seen me doing my activism and I'm trying to help people and trying to make them see what's happening to animals and go vegan. And many other vegans are trying to help people go vegan. And I'm now telling you that vegans don't care if you're vegan or not.
I don't believe this. I don't believe you.
What I'm saying is they don't care if you call yourself vegan or not. You don't have to subscribe to any movement or ideology to stop harming animals. If you decide I'm not going to purchase any animal products, I'm going to live my life without harming any other innocent beings, so no milk, no dairy, no eggs, no clothing, I'm going to avoid all animal products because I think it's immoral, but you don't call yourself a vegan, so be it. Vegans are not interested in you joining their club.
I'll never join you!
Vegans are not interested in you subscribing to exactly what they believe and what they say and what everything that they think is right. All vegans care about is that you start caring about the animals that are suffering and dying and being used and abused for your lifestyles. That's the aim, that's the focus of most vegans. I hope this has been interesting for you. I hope it's given you a bit more of an insight into what's going on in the vegan world and actually who these people are and you know what they stand for. I hope this has given you a little snapshot into the opinions of some vegans, and I hope it helps you to then go ahead and you know live your best life. And hopefully I hope it would also inspire you to listen a little bit to what vegans have to say, because they do just want the best for the animals on our planet. They don't want to take things away from you or make you feel guilty.
Great, now I have guilt!
It's not about that. It's not about getting in people's way and causing problems. It's about highlighting what is happening to the innocent animals on our planet, the defenseless animals on our planet, and trying to get you to come and work with us so that we can together end it and move on to a more peaceful future where these animals get to live their own lives and we get to live our own lives, and basically everyone is happy, not just the humans who are using and abusing those animals for them to be happy. We want everyone to be happy.
Oh yeah, I like this idea.
Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.